Welcome. In this video, I'm going to be answering 10 questions from the Board Game Geek Forums about 85 Afghanistan graveyard vampires. I'm going to have designer Mark H. Walker answer these questions to ensure that you get the most accurate information. 85 is the newest game in the Squad Battles series designed by Mark H. Walker. The first game in this series was 65, The Jungles of Vietnam, which will be reprinted this summer, actually. Next up, we have 95, The Years of Sorrow, coming out later this year. I hope that answering these questions from the Board Game Geek Forum helps you get your game to the table faster and get playing faster. This is a really great series and a really great game. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. First up, we have a question from Jake. Jake says, as with 65, will there be a vassal mod to go with the PNP files? Thanks in advance. Mark says, we don't have a vassal mod yet, but we do have a TTS module. TTS stands for Tabletop Simulator, for those of you who aren't familiar. He gave me a link, and I'm going to put that in the description below so that you guys can play this on TTS. All right, the next question we have is from longtime fan of Flying Pig Games, Ralph Ferrari. Ralph says, setting up this scenario, and it calls for an RPD for the Soviets. I can't seem to find an RPD for the Soviets in the counter mix. Thanks. Mark says, my mistake, use an RPK. The next question we have is about artillery hit number clarification. It's from Zilla Blitz. Zilla says, hi, the rules in section 12, page 12 on the artillery section say that artillery hits on a 4 through 6 with the Soviet player getting a +1 die roll modifier. The artillery action card, Soviet only, says the hit number is 3 through 6. Are these simply the same thing with the card already including the +1 bonus because it's Soviet only? Mark says that is correct. They are the same thing. The next question we have is also from Zilla Blitz. It is about concealed status in assault combat. Zilla says, if a unit assaults a hex that has a concealed defending unit, does the defending unit's concealed status apply to the assault combat? What if there are 2 defending units in a hex and only one of them is concealed? Thanks. All right. Dad says, great question. 13A, first bullet states that HEF of the attacking and defending units. This is not modified by range or the terrain in the defender's hex. So, since a unit can only have concealed status in a hex with a positive cover factor against all enemies, the unit would no longer be concealed. But hey, let's be real and answer simply. No, my intent was that units would lose concealment when the enemy assaulted them. Okay, so the next 2 questions are also from Zilla Blitz, and it's really it's one big questions with 2 sub questions underneath it, and I'm going to count them as questions 5 and 6. So here we go. Zilla says, for the sniper action on the action cards, not the sniper ability, the card says, target leg unit within 2 hexes of a Mujahideen leg unit receives 2 hits. This seems like it's simulating an automatic event. So this is the first question of this 2-parter. Does the target Soviet unit need to be in the line of sight of a Mujahideen unit that is 2 hexes away? All right. Mark says, no, it does not need to be within line of sight of the unit, nor is the unit marked fired or ops complete. The card simulates the Mujahideen's uncanny ability to infiltrate snipers within short range of Soviet units. The second question of this 2-parter, or question number 6 for this video, is do you place a fired or ops complete marker on the Mujahideen unit that is 2 hexes away? Thanks. All right, so Dad answered that question already, and that they are not marked fired or ops complete. All right, question number 7 is about degrading terrain, and it is brought to us by Frank. When firing through one degrading terrain, does it affect the firing unit? Thanks. All right. Number 7, yes, it does. Remember, however, that the second degrading hex block line of sight entirely. Okay, question number 8 is going to be about cover factor for road. It's another Zilla Blitz question. Zilla says, hi. On the terrain effects chart, the cover factor for clear and grass terrain is a 0. For roads, it's listed as 1, which is the same as woods and shell holes. Question. I was wondering, is the listed cover factor for roads on the terrain effects chart correct? It's supposed to be a 1? Just comparing roads to the other listed terrain types, it would feel like a road should be a 0. Thanks in advance. 8. Mark says, oh, brother, that's a mistake. You are completely correct. The road should be a 0. That seems to be very helpful. All right, number 9 is info on solo module and scenarios. This is brought to us by Walter. Walter says, does the solo expansion allow one to play either side in the game or just the Soviets? Do any of the solo scenarios feature vehicles? Number 9. In 4 scenarios, you play the Soviets. In the remaining 2, you play the Mujahideen. Yep, there are scenarios with vehicles. Okay, last question. Question number 10. Reinforcement action benefits on action cards. This is also from Zilla Blitz. Zilla says, selecting the reinforcements action on an action card allows you to draw another card and play another action. Is there something more to the action that I'm not understanding? It's basically discard the reinforcements card, draw another card, and play another action. Dad says, reinforcements is only one of the 2 actions allowed on the action card. On 2 of the reinforcement cards, you could also play the card to move and fire. On 1, you could play the card again, the card to gain a critical hit, and another allows you to defend with a glancing blow. These are all valuable actions, so you must decide. Do I want to discard this card to maybe draw a more relevant action, or keep it to use the other action on the card? Thanks again for watching this video. Like I said before in the Most Fearful Sacrifice video I did, I'm going to keep doing videos like these to answer some of your questions on the forums. It's hard to get around and answer all the questions for all of our games on the forums. So one of the ways I want to try and tackle that is by answering the questions through these YouTube videos. That way I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to create more content for the YouTube channel, and I also get to answer your questions. So I hope that you find these helpful. I hope you like playing 85. I love playing 85. I've liked the squad battle system ever since Night of Man. So I'm excited to see what 95 brings later this year. Don't forget, we will have a 65 reprint. And then that way, by the end of this year or by early next year, you should be able to get all 3 games in the squad battle system. And if you really want to nerd out on Flying Pig games, you can also get Night of Man, which is technically the first game in the squad battle system. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.